The 20th century witnessed a profound shift in the nature of warfare. The early decades were marked by the brutal and grueling conflicts of World War I, where trench warfare and chemical weapons introduced new levels of horror and devastation. As the century progressed, technological advancements continued to reshape the battlefield. World War II, already a conflict of unprecedented scale, gave birth to a weapon that would forever alter the course of human history: the atomic bomb. This war saw the mobilization of entire nations, with battles fought across continents and oceans. The sheer scale of destruction was unlike anything humanity had ever seen. Born from the brilliant minds of physicists like Albert Einstein and Robert Oppenheimer, the atomic bomb harnessed the power of nuclear fission, unleashing unimaginable destructive force. These scientists, driven by the fear of Nazi Germany developing such a weapon first, worked tirelessly to unlock the secrets of the atom. The Manhattan Project, a top-secret American initiative, raced against time to develop this weapon, fearing that Nazi Germany might get there first. This massive effort brought together the brightest minds in science and engineering, working in secrecy at locations like Los Alamos, New Mexico. The first successful atomic bomb test, codenamed Trinity, took place on July 16, 1945, at the Alamogordo Bombing and Gunnery Range in New Mexico. This test marked a pivotal moment in history, demonstrating the devastating power of nuclear weapons. The explosion, equivalent to the detonation of about 20,000 tons of TNT, vaporized the steel tower on which the bomb sat and left a crater of radioactive glass in the desert floor. The sheer magnitude of the blast was a stark reminder of the destructive potential now at humanity's fingertips. The world had entered the atomic age. This new era was characterized by both awe and fear, as the power of the atom promised both incredible energy and unparalleled destruction. The implications of this new technology were profound and far-reaching. The implications of this new technology were profound and terrifying. The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945 showcased the catastrophic potential of nuclear weapons, leading to the end of World War II, but also ushering in a new era of geopolitical tension. Humanity now possessed the ability to obliterate entire cities with a single bomb. The devastation witnessed in Hiroshima and Nagasaki served as a grim warning of the potential consequences of nuclear warfare, shaping international relations and defense strategies for decades to come. On August 6, 1945, an American B-29 bomber, the Enola Gay, dropped an atomic bomb nicknamed Little Boy on the Japanese city of Hiroshima. This marked the first time in history that a nuclear weapon was used in warfare, forever changing the landscape of global conflict. The blast instantly killed an estimated 80,000 people and left countless others with horrific injuries from the intense heat radiation and flying debris. The city was reduced to rubble and the survivors faced unimaginable suffering, with many succumbing to their injuries in the days and weeks that followed.
3 days later, on August 9th, a second atomic bomb, Fat Man, was dropped on the city of Nagasaki. This bomb was even more powerful than the first, killing an estimated 40,000 people instantly. The destruction in Nagasaki was equally catastrophic, with fires raging and buildings collapsing. The devastation caused by these bombs was unlike anything the world had ever seen. The sheer scale of the destruction and the long-term effects of radiation exposure left a lasting impact on the survivors and the cities themselves. The bombings not only obliterated buildings, but also shattered lives and communities. The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki forced Japan to surrender, bringing an end to World War II. The formal surrender ceremony took place on September 2, 1945, aboard the USS Missouri, marking the conclusion of one of the deadliest conflicts in human history. However, they also ushered in a new era of fear and uncertainty. The use of atomic bombs demonstrated the terrifying potential of nuclear weapons, leading to an arms race during the Cold War. Nations around the world began to develop and test their own nuclear arsenals, and the threat of nuclear war loomed large.
The world now lived in the shadow of the mushroom cloud, aware that the power to destroy civilization itself was within reach. The haunting images of the mushroom clouds over Hiroshima and Nagasaki became symbols of the destructive potential of nuclear weapons. The atomic bombings served as a stark warning about the potential consequences of unchecked scientific progress and the urgent need for international cooperation to prevent such horrors from ever happening again. The world had to grapple with the ethical and moral implications of nuclear technology, and the importance of diplomacy and disarmament became more critical than ever. If the atomic bomb marked the dawn of the nuclear age, the hydrogen bomb, developed just a few years later, represented a terrifying leap forward in destructive power. The atomic bomb, with its devastating impact on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, had already shown the world the catastrophic potential of nuclear weapons. However, the hydrogen bomb took this potential to an entirely new level, introducing a scale of destruction that was previously unimaginable. While atomic bombs relied on nuclear fission, the splitting of atoms, hydrogen bombs harnessed the energy of nuclear fusion, the process that powers the sun. This fundamental difference in mechanisms meant that hydrogen bombs could achieve exponentially greater explosive yields. The fusion process, which involves combining lighter atomic nuclei to form a heavier nucleus, releases an immense amount of energy, far surpassing that of fission.
This fusion reaction, ignited by an atomic bomb trigger, released vastly more energy than its fission-based predecessor. The initial fission explosion serves as a catalyst, creating the extreme temperatures and pressures necessary to initiate the fusion process. This two-stage detonation mechanism is what makes the hydrogen bomb so much more powerful and destructive. The first hydrogen bomb, codenamed Ivy Mike, was detonated by the United States on November 1, 1952, on the Enuitak Atoll in the Pacific Ocean. This test marked a significant milestone in nuclear weapons development, demonstrating the feasibility and unparalleled power of thermonuclear weapons. The Ivy Mike test was a massive scientific and engineering effort involving thousands of personnel and extensive logistical planning. The explosion was 1,000 times more powerful than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima, vaporizing the island where the test took place and leaving a crater miles wide. The sheer magnitude of the blast was unprecedented, creating a mushroom cloud that reached into the stratosphere and a shockwave that was felt hundreds of miles away. The aftermath of the explosion provided a stark visual representation of the hydrogen bomb's destructive capability.
The Soviet Union followed suit with its own hydrogen bomb test in 1953, igniting a global arms race that would define the Cold War. This period saw both superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, rapidly advancing their nuclear arsenals, each striving to outdo the other in a show of military might. The development and testing of hydrogen bombs became a central element of this geopolitical struggle. The most powerful weapon ever detonated, the Tsar Bomba, was tested by the Soviet Union in 1961. This colossal bomb, with a yield of 50 megatons, was a demonstration of the Soviet Union's technological prowess and a stark warning to the world. The Tsar Bomba's detonation was so powerful that it shattered windows hundreds of miles away and produced a mushroom cloud that reached the edge of space. With a yield of 50 megatons, equivalent to 50 million tons of TNT, the Tsar Bomba's blast wave circled the globe 3 times. The energy released by this single explosion was greater than all the explosives used during World War II combined. The shockwave generated by the blast was detected by seismometers around the world, underscoring the bomb's unprecedented power. This terrifying display of destructive power served as a chilling reminder of the stakes of the nuclear arms race. The existence of such weapons underscored the potential for catastrophic destruction on a global scale, influencing international relations and prompting efforts towards arms control and non-proliferation. The legacy of these tests continues to shape our understanding of nuclear weapons and their impact on humanity. Section 4. Beyond the blast, the silent killers. While the immense explosive power of nuclear weapons is well documented, the long-term effects of radiation poisoning are equally horrifying. Exposure to high levels of radiation can cause acute radiation sickness, leading to a range of debilitating symptoms, including nausea, vomiting, hair loss, internal bleeding, and death. Survivors of the atomic bombings in Japan faced increased risks of cancer, birth defects, and other long-term health complications. The development of nuclear weapons ushered in a new era of anxiety as the threat of radioactive fallout extended far beyond the immediate blast zone. Governments conducted atmospheric tests of nuclear weapons, releasing radioactive particles into the atmosphere that spread across the globe, contaminating the environment and posing a long-term threat to human health. The spectre of nuclear winter, a hypothetical global cooling effect caused by widespread nuclear detonations, further fueled fears about the potential for nuclear war to devastate the planet. Section 5. Biological weapons, invisible and indiscriminate. While nuclear weapons represent the pinnacle of destructive power, biological weapons pose a unique and terrifying threat. These weapons utilize deadly viruses, bacteria or toxins to inflict disease and death on a mass scale. Bioweapons specialist. Unlike conventional explosives, biological weapons are often invisible and difficult to detect, making them insidious and terrifying agents of warfare. The use of biological weapons dates back centuries, from the catapulting of plague-ridden corpses over city walls to the deliberate contamination of water supplies with deadly diseases. Bioweapons specialist. The 20th century saw the development of sophisticated biological weapons programs, with nations researching and stockpiling deadly pathogens like anthrax, smallpox, and botulinum toxin. The potential for these weapons to cause widespread pandemics, killing indiscriminately across borders, makes them a grave concern for global security. The threat of bioterrorism, in which non-state actors acquire and deploy biological weapons, adds another layer of complexity to this already dire scenario.